Guys, it is Overrated review time, and today I am reviewing the game F-Zero from the SNES, thanks to the SNES Classic. And speaking of which, I will be reviewing 3 of these games this week, so be sure to check them all out. And now, without further ado, let's do it! And I've got to tell you, the first time I even heard about F-Zero being a franchise from Nintendo was in fact thanks to Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64. There was this character, maybe you know him as Captain Falcon, that showed up, and I wanted to know more about him, and after a little bit of research discovered he is from a game called F-Zero. And after now trying out this game, first I tried it out on the Wii U, but after playing it now thanks to the SNES Classic again, I can safely say that this is a solid and very well designed game that is a lot of fun, if not infuriating at times, because it can be so frustrating. And it's frustrating because it's difficult in ways that you're not normally used to in a racing game. For example, you can't hit the edges, you take damage, and yes, there are other games where your car blows up and you can respawn, but in this game, if you see on the top right, that power bar, if that power bar reaches 0, it's effectively game over. And if you haven't noticed yet, at the bottom right, you actually have a life system. So this game isn't so much about just winning, it's also about surviving. If you fall off the track, you die. If you get hit too many times on the edges, you die. And if you hit the other vehicles that are also on the track too many times, you guessed it, you will still die. There are a lot of obstacles that you have to overcome, and that is part of the challenge, and that is part of the fun. But some of these courses are just total dicks, man. I mean, the way they're designed, they are designed to make you hurt, it seems like, and that in and of itself is just cruel. But that is what people also, I've discovered, love about F-Zero, and after playing the GameCube one, I'm kind of a glutton for punishment too. It's good to see that they've kept the roots of being very infuriating as you watch your character burst into a nice ball of flames. But if there's one thing I don't like about this game, it has to be how limited my selections are. For example, there are only 4 vehicles, aka drivers, to choose from. There's not a lot of tracks in this game. I just wish there was more content overall. And I understand it's an SNES game, so it's going to be very limiting. But there are other games, for example, Super Mario Kart is one that comes immediately to mind, that I feel like it gives you a lot more in terms of content. So I would have appreciated and enjoyed more from F-Zero, if that makes any sense at all. And then there's one last thing I need to talk about, and I don't know if it's a negative or a positive or how I should consider it. I just feel like I have to bring it up, and that is the control schemes in F-Zero is very unforgiving, and it is sometimes really hard to control your racer. Case in point, I had a very hard time just on this straightaway actually going straight. I never felt like I could ever get the vehicle to just line up and go straight, and in F-Zero's case, and to be fair, in a lot of these SNES games' case, controlling your vehicle is not smooth sailing. We have been super spoiled these days with how well we can control our vehicles, but in the Super Nintendo's days, just be prepared. Sometimes you're never gonna feel like you're 100% in control, and I think that's just part of that time frame. Well, I think I've talked enough about F-Zero. It is time now to give the letter grade, and for those of you that are new here, I give letter grades. That's right, none of this 1 to 10 crap or 5 stars, anything like that. We do letter grades as if all these games are in school. A being the best, F being the worst, and F-Zero is actually a really solid game. I really enjoy it. I've enjoyed playing it. I've played it a couple of times now. It's just weird, man. It's just weird to see how far it's come. I really like the GameCube version of this game, but playing this one really helps me to appreciate where F-Zero started, where its origins are, and for that reason alone, I am giving this game an F. I'm just kidding, I'm giving it a B. It's a solid game, guys. It's really fun. I do recommend you try it. But it gets a B because, like I said, for me, I just wanted a little bit more content that's involved. There's no shame in that. Some games on the SNES give you a lot of content, and that's not an unfair criticism for F-Zero. And speaking of which, by the way, if Nintendo is ever listening, how about you make a new one? I know it's been like almost 20 years since you made one, but hey, there's still fans out here. I mean, I'm still playing them. Please? Please? And that, my friends, concludes this very casual and very overrated review, and I just wanted to say thank you for watching. If you want to see more content like this, why don't you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next overrated review. I am Bradley Overrated, out like a trout. Have a good one.